Salam, peace, and welcome to Nwar Astrology. Today is Friday, December the 2nd of 2022. The moon has moved into Aries and out of Pisces. So a good analogy for this is the idea of being birthed or birthing a new self. So in Pisces, the moon is very emotional. It's also very creative, it's in this kind of collective unconscious, the cosmic womb that connects us all. So if you look at the astrology wheel and you look from Aries and going around the zodiac into Pisces, we're looking from the moment of birth through our early childhood and familial life into our adolescence and early adulthood in our social life, growing older into our later years and our legacies that we're creating, and then into the end of our life, reconnecting back with family as well as everything in the world, and then coming back once again as an ancestor. That's kind of the theme, the idea behind the zodiacal wheel. So in Aries deals with the self. Aries is the first house of the zodiac. It can be our physical self, how our body is, but it can also be our internal self as well as the mask that we wear in the world, the persona that people experience when they communicate with us. So this is good energy. Depending on how one may have synthesized and alchemized the energies that we have been experiencing the last few days as the moon traveled through Pisces, finishing up its trip around the zodiac and into Aries. You're either going to be in a really great energy today or maybe the complete opposite, because you will be at some dissonance with that new self being birthed right now. And imagine a breech birth or something that's not coming out the way it's supposed to be. And it can be, birth can be very painful. As beautiful it is of a creative process, it's also can be painful and damaging as well. So this energy is a creative energy. It's good for starting new projects. It's the energy of, creative self-expression. The moon is dealing with yourself, or the moon is focused on self. So this could be full of self, or it could be selfish. And whether or not our self is healed is definitely going to be brought into question today, because the moon is making a conjunction to Chiron. Chiron in the mythology is a centaur. In astronomy, Chiron is an asteroid. In the mythology, Chiron is a centaur that was a sage and a healer, and was wounded by a poison arrow. And paraphrasing right now, he went on to go on and heal other people. And the arrow was such that the pain from the wound would never heal. But he continued his work, and probably leaving some stuff out of the story, of course, when he transitions or he's promoted into godhood because of his efforts. So it's the energy of the divine wounded healer. And even though he was never able to heal himself, he was able to heal others, and therefore given godhood and everlasting life. So Chiron deals with our wounds, a lot of emotional wounds that we might be feeling. So right now that the moon is conjunct with Chiron, it can be a heavy emotional day, or it can be a really bright emotional day. Let's talk about the sun for a second. The sun is at 10 degrees of Sagittarius and is making a conjunction with Antares. So Antares is a fixed star. It's known as a malefic star. It has more of a darker energy to it. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and read the breakdown of Antares for you. The image of Antares is a man armed with a coat of mail, or a scorpion. It gives the understanding of memory and help against evil spirits. and the power of driving them away and binding them. It's a binary star. It's fiery red and emerald green. It's situated at the body of the Scorpion from Antares, meaning the rival of Mars. It was one of the 4 royal stars of Persia, circa 3000 BC, when, as the Watcher of the West, it marked the autumnal equinox. Sometimes called Shiloh and Cor Scorpio, meaning the heart of the Scorpion, or the Scorpion's heart. According to Ptolemy, Antares' influence in its nature is of the nature of Mars and Jupiter. Alvidas gives Jupiter sextile Venus, but this is unlikely considering the decidedly martial and malefic nature of the star. It causes malevolence, destructiveness, liberality, broad-mindedness, evil passages, and danger of fatality, and makes its natives rash, ravenous, headstrong, and destructive to themselves and by their own obstinacy. When the sun is conjunct to Antares, themes that come up can be pretended religion, insincerity, honor and riches ending in disgrace and in ruin, military preferment, danger of treachery, violence committed and or suffered, fevers and sickness, injuries to the right eye, violent death, and if rising or accumulating great honor through violence attended by difficulties and casualties. If with Mars, also deal with pestilence and disease. So think of the sun as the illuminator of the zodiac. The sun is our life's purpose and our, it's what's in our soul. And the moons are dealing with our emotion, and it's dealing with our needs, our physical and emotional needs. There is, thankfully, a trine happening, which is a beneficial aspect between the sun conjunct Antares and the moon conjunct Chiron. So think of this as the illumination, perhaps, of some emotional wounds that could maybe even potentially been around some sort of violence in the past, or maybe could have even things that have you so upset, so angry that you could feel that the need to be brought to violence. And so Chiron, the wounded healer, is bringing the opportunity for us to deal with that. This trine that's happening between the sun and the moon is bringing us the opportunity to do some healing in these areas of some things that might have had us like fiery, red hot, in a malefic energy. This energy also with Antares and Chiron and the moon could bring up potentially, the moon being in Aries, narcissistic behavior patterns of delusion. These sorts of things need to be looked at and treated carefully for sure, because the moon is in the house of the self at this time. So our emotions are dealing with self. So, are we renewed and healed in ourself? And born anew as Chiron was, or are we still in a state of excruciating pain that might be illuminated by the sun and Antares? So Saturn is at a square to Uranus, which is bringing about the need and the feeling, it's like this tension between the old and the new. So you can either be feeling stuck in a rut, like nothing is changing, or you could be having a bolt of electricity to just launch out and leap forward for new experiences and new opportunities. Dealing with this energy that we're dealing with right now, it's also important to pay attention to Saturn and its trine with Mars, which is urging us towards discipline and taking a paced, step-by-step move forward with our actions, and not to be rash and not to go off and get hot-headed, especially with this energy today. Chiron is also at a quincunx to the South Node, which can leave us feeling almost as if grief is unavoidable. It's getting some bad news, or you didn't get the promotion, something like that. Chiron quincunx to the South Node, which deals with what we need to leave behind. It can give us the feeling of negative messages, but messages that are also, they may be hard to hear, but they'll be healing in the end because it opens up a new door for us to walk through. And Saturn is at a semi-square to the moon. This is also, energy of remaining patient and calm. Reminding us to take our time and think through where we're at. The energy today could definitely have some people dealing with a lot of difficult emotions, dealing with themselves and whether they're seen within a group situation. It could also have just, it's got an energy today that could have people maybe wanting to be a little bit rash. And it's important to just make sure that we synthesize those energies and take the time that Saturn is asking for us to take and learn the lessons, emotional lessons that we're going through today. So we can be dealing with a lot of emotional energy, either still being in a place of pain or rather coming into a place of healing around these emotional wounds, dealing with our inner self, especially because we just came through these social transits and they're at an opposition to our will that is at a more local, personal house. These wounds could definitely be dealing with either one of those areas for us. So I'm going to go ahead and read the Sabine symbols for all of the planets to give a little bit more depth on what we might have been experiencing at these exact degrees. Kind of, a little bit of a metaphor, a little story with each one. The Sun at Sagittarius, 11 degrees. In the left section of an archaic temple, a lamp burns in a container shaped like a human body. This symbol implies seeing the body as being one's temple, something to be honored and given respect, exercise, and good nutrition. It also pictures linking the spirit and the body. Logic is not always involved in this equation. It mostly speaks of emotions, spirit, and physicality. Sometimes we need to remember to be in our bodies, and this shows the rewards that can come from regarding our bodies as our temple. There's a need to sleep and exercise when we need to eat when we need to be alive and happy. However, if taken too seriously, one can forget to nourish their mind, preferring to concentrate on physical attributes and forget about other possibilities. In the positive, this deals with connecting the left and right sides, yoga, grounding reality, working out, sexuality, realizing that the body and spirit are one, sport and its physical rewards and metabolic rates. In the negative, this can deal with being caught up in the illusion of the physical self, worshiping the physical body at the expense of the intellect or psyche or spirit, and one's fire going out. So definitely with the moon, our emotions, being in Aries, the first house, and this is, the sun, this trine, hitting here, this is that energy of our fire being birthed anew, and not letting any of these kind of tensions in any of these other areas burn our fire out and have us staying stuck in emotional wounds of the past. Next up, I did Chiron at, let me do first the moon at 6 degrees. Next up, the moon at 6 degrees of Aries. A square brightly lighted on one side. The symbol often shows a positive nature that knows how to find ways out of situations by creating creative solutions. Don't become too concerned with one side of issues in the material world, even if you feel boxed in with no way out. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. You have the ability to simply look around with more objective eye and apply simple, active solutions. There are always ways out of dilemmas. Look for the light and head towards it. In the positive, this can deal with refusal to surrender to frustrations, thinking outside the square, illuminated solutions, understanding the borders of one's activities, looking for stability, a strong discharge of energies. In the negative, surrendering, feeling trapped, seeing only one side of situations, bouncing around, wanting to escape tight situations, and feeling locked in or boxed in. That was the moon dealing with our emotional and physical needs and wants. This is Chiron, the wounded healer. Aries, 12 degrees, a flock of wild geese. Take your cue from the wild geese. When they fly in formation, they take turns in leading the way. When one gets tired or sick, another takes the lead. Spread your wings and seek freedom. Take note of seasonal variations around you. Just remember to be mindful of your responsibilities to both yourself and to others. Be a part of the group by contributing and promoting the joys of togetherness while keeping a sense of independence. Geese are known for forming lifelong partnerships, so marriage or partnership may indeed be a consideration in this situation. In the positive, this deals with Aquarian ideals of brotherhood, attunement of planetary rhythms, spirit liberated from matter, focused group activity and support, choreography, and flying in the slipstream, being in that, that divine nature there, which is interesting. That's where the moon has just been coming from in Aquarius and in going to Pisces. That's a very communal, hive mind, divine kind of energy, and now we're being birthed into new. So that's very interesting there. In the negative, this can deal with following the leader without knowing where you are going, never knowing where to land or where to ground yourself, taking off on wild goose chases. So don't let the hierarchy of the group or a false prophet leader, anyone else out there lead us astray, have us going off on, missions and fantastical quests without knowing where we're headed or where we're landed. Right now, with the sun in Sagittarius, Venus, Mercury, our mental and our value in Sagittarius is about going on that journey for self, right? The moon is in Aries now, dealing with self. So this is a time for us to be brave, and it's not about throwing away your connection to society altogether, but it's understanding who you are and what your value is, and now it's emerging on that journey and showcasing such. Okay, next up we have Saturn at 20 degrees of Aquarius, a large white dove bearing a message. This symbol brings solace, comfort, and joy to those who need help. A large white dove brings messages, possibly ones you've been waiting for some time. You may need to resolve your situation by relying on peaceful messages that come from your spiritual center. They should be offered with gentleness and without malice. It can indicate either being seen as a savior or one who needs saving, as you will at times be the one bearing a message and at other times receiving it. Whichever side you're on, there can be relief once you've been able to assimilate the messages that's being revealed. In the positive, this deals with blessings delivered, that all is well, celebrations, somebody who brings blessed relief to others, news, announcements, issues of hope and salvation, birds, and spiritual messages. In the negative, sticking with the assumptions that things will never improve, refusing solace, shooting the messenger, not being content no matter what's said, and depression. And that's Saturn, which is the taskmaster of the zodiac, dealing with time. So perhaps you could be waiting or feel like you've been waiting for a message. Maybe there is a message that's coming in that's taking quite a bit of time to come to you. Maybe you're crafting a message that's taking a long time. Next up, we have Mars in Gemini at 13 degrees. Two Chinese men talking Chinese in a Western crowd. The symbol implies being able to find someone to communicate with, even when you're in what might feel like alien territory. You may feel that you are often surrounded by people who don't understand you or even suspect your ways of doing things or your motives. Finding someone of like mind or feeling will help you feel more comfortable and secure. Thinking and speaking in your native tongue or language that reflects your thoughts and belief will bring greater ease and comfort. Sharing mutual thoughts can help transcend feelings of alienation and can lead to new understanding. Transcending feelings of alienation, having a specialized language that doesn't communicate with everyone, having a completely different mindset and interpretations. Those are the more positive aspects. And the more negative aspects are not adapting to the world, being with people who don't share philosophies or understanding, not communicating on your own level, and judging others as different. That's Mars is dealing with our will. Next up, we have Uranus, which brings in electric, groundbreaking change. Our physical values are being shaken up, and physical realities in some ways being shaken up and changed with this energy here. And so Uranus is in Taurus at 16 degrees. The Sabaean symbol is an old person is attempting with a degree of success unsuspected by them to reveal the mysteries to a motley group. This symbol implies that one holds an understanding that is either ahead of the times or behind the times, regardless of which it is. You may feel that no one is paying attention to your advice or wisdom, but it is not your wisdom that is at fault. It may be your approach, coupled with the lack of awareness of the listeners. Perhaps those you are trying to reach are not yet ready for the information, or they instinctively already know it. However, often people are soaking up things without really showing how much they are getting it. Ding. Sometimes you teach better by example than by trying to persuade. So, in the positive, this deals with trying a new approach, challenging the status quo, astrodrama, uniting diverse people in a common cause, subliminal messages and teachings, and revealing the mysteries. In the negative, it deals with exaggerated opinion of knowledge, the mistaken belief that others wish to know, not being in touch with the times, and ramming one's belief and having a lack of feedback. And the nodes deal with the moon as well. So they're dealing with emotionally and spiritually the directions that we're heading. The north node where we should be aiming to go, and the south node what we should be leaving behind. So the north node is at Taurus, 13 degrees, a porter carrying a mountain of heavy baggage. This symbol implies someone who intends to carry the load for others. They often feel responsible for everyone and everything. The porter will usually spring to action when asked to help or to shoulder the burdens of others' luggage or their baggage. In fact, you may be doing a lot to help others, but not getting much appreciation or thanks. Be wary that you are not just helping people to hang on to their extra baggage. Though you desire to be useful and helpful, this can weigh them down when you are no longer available. Grinning and bearing the weight only works for so long before one tires of it. In the positive, this deals with self-reliance, being reliable, responsible, and helpful, owning people's garbage, shouldering people's baggage, being weighed down is a negative one. Also another negative, bad back, sneeze, or posture. Being too busy with people's problems, not working on your own, not knowing when to say no, bearing family guilt, being useful but unimportant, and trudging through life. South Node in Taurus, which is, very, Taurian is the bull, it's a slow energy. This is interesting. So, what divine messages, maybe think right now, what divine messages and what intuitions have been coming to you in the last couple of days? Where have you found that your value sits within yourself and within any sort of larger group or societal structure that you find yourself in at this time? What are you birthing new right now into your life? Who are you becoming at this time? And most importantly, are you able, to stand out on your own and not get caught up too much in the dramas of others. We want to avoid some of those malefic energies that can be illuminated on a day like today with the sun in Antares, and dealing with a social house. You know, Sagittarian, it's the archer, arrow, deals with travel. Like maybe this is even the energy of being somewhere you're not supposed to be, being off somewhere else, in other people's business. You know, the moon is in the first house, and that's dealing with self. So today's a good day to, find something that you enjoy to do. Find something that you would enjoy to learn. Find some place that, maybe it's not about not going anywhere, you want to travel, but go and do so alone. Go for a walk on your own or something like that. I'm gonna pull a spirit message, oracle card for this energy today. That one wants to come out. Ancestral wisdom. We are your ancestors and we love you. We walked the earth many years before you. We ask you for this poignant time to learn and grow from our past experiences. You are our legacy and we will keep on helping you as we continue to evolve here in the spirit world. Two more. Stay connected. We are all born connected to spirit, often known as the divine source. Yet many of us have tendency to pull away from that connection as we journey through life in the physical world. Now is an important time to reconnect to the source. Oh, so many just came out. Too many. But hello from heaven, receive self-love. All right, that's it. Ancestral wisdom. Stay connected to source. Ancestral wisdom. Ancestral wisdom. Look back. Ancestral wisdom. Stay connected to source. Self-love. And receive a hello from heaven. Very interesting. We are, moving into the moon. If anyone has lost any family recently, or feels disconnected just from their community and from the life that they used to know, definitely don't have any worries at this time, because you're protected and you're loved. And it can be difficult, right, coming out of a feeling of connectedness, almost the comfort that being in a womb would, and the moon Pisces energy could have had. But we're dealing with this T square energy the last couple of days that could cause a lot of tension. We're dealing with a lot of malefic energy also with that Antares in the sun. It's just I don't know, I feel like this message is going on really long, but I'm feeling called to say this. Know that your ancestors and your loved ones and your guides and people are there with you, and they're wanting you to focus on self right now and receive the self-love, the love that is coming from within yourself and your ancestors, which are not only in heaven, right, but the ancestral wisdom is already within you. It's within the self. All right. Hope that helps someone today. Peace.